He didn't understand what that smell meant at first. I just knew it didn't belong there. It drifted off her skin one quiet afternoon like what would left out too long after the rain, and I remember thinking even then, some things don't announce themselves loudly when they're about to change your life. My name used to be RIDG, at least that's what he called me, and if you're wondering how a dog ends up telling a story like this, all I can say is some of us listen more closely than we bark, and some of us remember longer than we're supposed to. That afternoon, Claire stood in the kitchen, one hand gripping the counter, the other pressed lightly to her stomach, breathing through her teeth like she didn't want to scare anyone with how bad it hurt, and I circled her ankles, nose low, tail stiff, because the smell was stronger now, sour and tired and wrong in a way they only smelled once before, on an old fence behind the farm where I was born, a fence that was already rotting even though it was still standing. I tried to tell her, nudged her leg, went soft, but people don't speak our language unless they're ready to hear it, and Claire just smiled down at me and said, "Hey buddy, you're underfoot today," and that was that. 3 days later she was throwing up into the sink, pale as the towel, and packing bags in a hurry, telling her little girl to grab socks, just socks, no toys. We're going to grandma's for a few days. And in the rush of fear and nausea and adult panic, she forgot one thing. She forgot me. The door closed with that soft final click that doesn't echo but somehow still feels loud, and the house went still in a way that made my ears ring. At first I waited by the door, because that's what good dogs do. We wait, we believe in patterns, we believe that footsteps always come back eventually, but hours passed and the sun slid across the carpet and nobody came. There was food in the cabinet, I could smell it, dry and comforting, but doors are funny things, you can see what you need, you just can't reach it, so I ate what I could find, crumbs, a few pieces that had fallen under the table, pride swallowed along with the hunger. When I got thirsty, I learned how cold porcelain tastes. When I got tired, I slept on the couch because it still smelled like them, like Clyde's shampoo and Evan's Sanjanol and the faint sugar scent of a child who'd fallen asleep there too many times. He stopped barking after the first day, because every time someone passed the window and I made noise, their footsteps sped up, like they thought I was guarding something, not begging for help. So I learned something else instead, something survival teaches you quickly. Stillness saves energy. By the second night, hunger started doing strange things to my head, sounds bending at the edges, shadows holding too long, and that's when I heard it, a noise from the little Hill's room, soft at first, then insistent, like fabric tearing. I went down the hall, legs shaking, and there it was, her stuffed zebra, standing upright in the dim light, eyes glassy, smile stretched too wide. It puffed out its chest like it owned the place, then tore itself open and started pulling white stuffing from its belly, over and over, endless, like it could empty itself forever and still have more to give. That's when I ran. I hid under the bed, heart racing, body pressed flat, because when you can't tell what's real anymore, hiding feels like wisdom. 3 days. That's how long I lasted. 3 days and 2 nights before the front door finally opened and Evan stepped inside, confused, calling out names that didn't answer him back. He found me curled tight, thin and shaking, and for a moment relief flooded his face, then frustration, then guilt, all layered together like a bad sandwich. Claire came back that night, eyes red, arms full of apologies she didn't know how to say, and just as she opened her mouth, her daughter screamed from the hallway. Everyone ran. I tried to follow, but Evan grabbed me by the collar. Hard, too hard, and for the first time in 8 years, he yelled at me like I was the problem. I didn't understand until later, when I saw the mirror, saw the mess they made, and realized the zebra they'd been so afraid of wasn't a monster at all, it was me, starved and confused and tearing myself apart from the inside. Evan sat on the front steps after that, head in his hands, and I went to him, pressed my forehead into his knee the way I always did when things felt broken. "I'm sorry, Buddy," he whispered, voice cracking. "That's on me. We'd been together a long time by then, long enough to remember how it all started. Back when I was just another dog behind a wire fence, when Evan was just another guy driving too fast through a life he didn't feel settled in, and we locked eyes through a cardboard sign taped crooked to a post. He didn't pick me because I was special. He picked him because he looked lost. The city was loud and bright and terrifying at first, but Evan's apartment became home the second I learned where he slept, and that first night, when I couldn't settle, he turned on the TV and laughed as he moved my paws like they were steering wheels, following race cars on the screen. That's when something inside me clicked. Speed. Focus. Control. The track became our church. When Evan drove, I watched, and when it rained, I believed harder, because rain separates the scared from the steady, and Evan was steady in a way that didn't shout about itself. People didn't always notice him, sponsors took credit that wasn't theirs, but I knew the truth, and dogs are very good at knowing when to wait. Then Claire came into our lives, all laughter and confidence, smelling like flowers and something sharp underneath, and I didn't trust her at first, not really, because love changes shapes, and change feels like loss until you learn it isn't it. That part came later. For now, all you need to know is this. That smell I noticed at the beginning, the one I couldn't forget, the one that came back again and again like a warning whispered too softly, it was already there, waiting patiently for its turn. And none of us understood yet what it was going to take. Claire didn't walk into our lives like a storm, she came in like warm weather, slow, pleasant, the kind you don't notice changing until suddenly you're dressed wrong for it, and by the time I understood that loving her meant sharing Evan in ways I couldn't control, it was already done. They married by the water, not far from the cliffs where the waves hit hard enough to shake your chest, and I carried the rings because someone thought it would be cute, and maybe it was, but I remember standing there watching Claire's parents more than the couple, because smiles don't always mean welcome, and her father's smile never quite reached his eyes. He shook Evan's hand like he was testing something fragile, something he didn't believe would last. After that, life got bigger, a new house, a yard I could run in, a fridge that opened more often, but somehow love felt tighter, like a sweater that didn't stretch the way it used to. When Claire got pregnant, the house filled with a different kind of noise, plans and worries and laughter that sounded nervous around the edges, and I started spending more time with her while Evan was gone, training, racing, chasing the dream that had carried him this far. She talked to me sometimes when she thought no one was listening, her hand resting on her stomach, voice soft. Don't worry, she'd say, like she was reassuring both of us. We'll figure it out. He wanted to believe her, but the smell never left. It grew heavier as the months passed, especially at night, when she couldn't sleep and stared at the ceiling, swallowing pills she pretended were harmless, watching old race footage on the laptop, her eyes lighting up whenever Evan took a corner in the rain. It's different then, she told me once. Like he can see something other people can't. He wanted to tell her I could see it too. The baby came on a stormy night, thunder shaking the windows, Evan racing somewhere far away, rain pounding the track like a test, and Claire screaming through pain she refused to call fear. He ran back and forth between the TV and the bedroom, torn between them and I loved and the woman who needed me, until finally, both moments collided, the announcer shouting victory as a newborn cried for the first time. Clyde reached for me after, pulled me close, let me rest my head against her chest like I belonged there. That was the night I stopped being jealous. For a while, happiness held. The little girl grew fast, sticky fingers and loud laughter, dressing me up in things that embarrassed me but made her smile, and Evan traveled more, chasing winds that finally started coming with recognition. Clyde grew quieter. Her laughter shortened, her sleep got worse, and that smell, that awful, familiar smell, came back strong enough to make my nose ache. She started throwing up again, brushing it off, saying it was stress, a virus, nothing worth worrying Evan about. People are like that when they're afraid of being a burden. The day she collapsed on the trail, gasping for air, my barking finally meant something. Strangers came, sirens screamed, and I watched from too far away as they carried her off, knowing, deep down, at this time the smell wasn't a warning anymore. It was an ending. The hospital wouldn't let me in. Evan came home days later looking older than he had any right to, eyes hollow, voice flat. It's cancer, he said to the empty room, to me, to himself. Late stage. After that, life narrowed. No more races. No more plans beyond the next appointment, the next scan, the next quiet conversation that ended with forced optimism. Evan learned how to braid hair, how to pack lunches, how to sit still for hours doing nothing but listening to the sound of someone breathing. He stayed close, especially at night, when Claire slept shallow and restless, when Evan finally let himself cry into his hands. She went home to die. That's the sentence no one ever wants to say out loud, but everyone understood. Her parents' house was big and cold and smelled like money and control, and I slept at the foot of the bed, guarding something I couldn't protect from. Clyde wasn't afraid. I think there's more after this, she told Evan one night, her voice barely there. I think it's just another turn. He nodded, even though I knew he didn't believe it yet. She died quietly, while the house slept, her hands still warm under Evan's, me awake beside them, watching a breath that never came back. Grief didn't take it all at once. It sipped. It soaked into everything, into silence, into routine, into the way Evan stood too long staring at nothing. The funeral passed without me. I stayed home, nose buried in one of Clyde's scarves, breathing in what little warmth was left. That's when the fight started. Her father blamed Evan, blamed the races, the travel, the time away, said things like responsibility and stability like they were weapons. He wanted the little girl. He wanted control. The argument turned physical faster than it should have, one shove, one stumble, a man falling just right against a stone they positioned himself near. He saw it happen. Evan didn't. He left with his daughter and me, not knowing they just stepped into a trap. The police came the next day. 10 lawyers. 10 rules. No travel. No racing. No seeing his child for 90 days. Money froze. Dreams paused. Evan stopped sleeping. He wished, harder than I ever had, that I could speak. Not to tell the truth in court, they wouldn't listen to me anyway, but to tell Evan not to give up, not now, not after everything they already survived. He followed him everywhere, even on the nights he ran in the rain, punishing his body like speed could erase pain. That's when the car hit me. I don't remember the impact, just the sound Evan made when he saw me lying there, a sound they never heard from him before. The vet said I was old, said recovery wasn't likely, said sometimes love isn't enough. He woke up anyway. Because I wasn't done. When Evan sat at the table days later, pen in hand, ready to sign away his rights just to keep a piece of his doctor's life, something in me snapped awake, sharp and clear. He grabbed the paper. He tore it to shreds. Evan stared at me like he was seeing me for the first time, and something changed behind his eyes. I promised her, he whispered. I promised I wouldn't let go. The courtroom smelled like polish and old paper and lies told politely. I waited at home, passing, praying in my own way. The mother changed her story. The case collapsed. When Evan came home with his daughter that night, relief hit him so hard he had to sit down on the floor. He lay beside them, exhausted, content. The storm had passed. Or so I thought. After that night, things didn't magically become easy, but they did become honest, and sometimes that's the closest thing to peace you get. The little girl came home for good, her room exactly how she'd left it, drawings still taped crooked on the wall, and Evan learned a new rhythm of life, slower, steadier. Mornings about cereal and backpacks instead of flat schedules and pit lanes. The racing offer from Europe came back around too, the one everyone said they regret turning down if he didn't take it, and this time there were no court orders holding him back, no voices telling him he didn't deserve it. He stood in the kitchen one evening, phone in his hand, staring out the window like the answer might be hiding in the yard. I don't know if I still want it, he said quietly, not really to me, not really to anyone. I watched him for a long moment, then did what I'd always done best, I walked over and rested my head against his leg, not pushing, not pulling, just reminding him he wasn't alone in the decision. He took the job. We didn't leave right away, though, because life has a way of asking you to slow down when you least expect it. I started having accidents in the house, embarrassing ones, the kind that make you look away even when no one is yelling, and Evan never once raised his voice, just cleaned it up, rubbed my ears, said, "It's okay, old man, happens to the best of us." But I knew. He could smell it again, that same old scent, wet wood, tired and finished, only this time it wasn't coming from someone I loved. It was coming from me. My legs didn't work the way they used to, my vision blurred at the edges, and I slept more, dreamed deeper, dreams full of open roads and rain-soaked turns and the sound of an engine finding its sweet spot. One afternoon, Evan lifted me into the car instead of waiting for me to jump, and we drove out past the city, past the places that remembered us, until the world opened up into asphalt and sky. It put me in the passenger seat of the race car not to compete, not to prove anything, just to let me feel it. The engine roared, the wind rushed in, and for a few perfect minutes, everything made sense again, the speed, the focus, the way life narrows down to one clean line forward. "You were always with me," Evan said over the noise, his voice steady, grateful. "You know that, right?" He did. He always had been. That night, I didn't get up from the floor. He didn't want to. Evan noticed right away, knelt beside me, hands shaking just a little as he stroked my fur. "Oh," he whispered. "Okay. Okay." He stayed with me until the end, telling stories they already lived, laughing softly at memories we shared, his tears falling warm against my head. He wasn't afraid. He was ready. Years passed, the way they always do, quietly, without asking permission. The little girl grew into a young woman, tall and sure of herself, her laughter sounding more like her mother's every year. Evan became everything people said he might, trophies on shelves. Interviews, fans asking for autographs, but he never talked about success the way they wanted him to. He talked about patience. About staying calm in the rain. About loyalty. One afternoon, at a signing event, a man brought his young son up to the table, a shy kid with bright eyes and grass-stained sneakers. "What's your name, Woody?" Evan asked. "Rich," the boy said. Evan froze. Used for a second. Then he smiled, a real one, the kind that comes from somewhere deep. That's a good name, he said, and when he handed the autograph back, he wrote his phone number underneath it. If you ever need anything, you give me a call. But why didn't they understand why that mattered? But Devin did. People say dogs don't live long enough, and maybe that's true, but maybe that's because we're here to remind you of something simple, something you forget when life gets loud. That love don't need words. That staying matters. That the ones who walk beside you in the worst moments are the ones worth remembering when the sun comes back out. If this story reminded you of someone you lost, or someone still waiting for you at home, take a moment and let me know in the comments, share what they meant to you, and if this touched you even a little, consider sharing it with someone who needs to hear it tonight. Thank you for staying with me until the end, thank you for listening, and thank you for remembering the ones who never stopped waiting for you to come back.